than anything. He got caught with a shot and went down.
Needs to save all that energy that he's using to hit his gloves together, and he needs to be trying to hit Shakur Stevenson right now.
That high guard is not serving him well. There was a left uppercut that came in. Shakur very good at changing levels. Three-punch combination. Headshot comes in again from Stevenson. Stevenson is showing more aggression. Comfort right there, right in front, putting forth the power punches.
And like I said, he's walking him down now. Stevenson is walking him down now. Now he's moving backwards. Now Valdez is coming in. But
and when he comes in, he catches him with that left hand.
Valdez right now is looking for one shot.
I gotta bake another one. Eddy Reynoso Stereotypes Black Fighters says they like to run, just throw one or two jabs and get out of dodge. Roll the clip.
La derrota con Shakur, de haber una pelea media ensucia, pero pues ya sabes cómo son los morenos, como no te dan pelea, pues te tiran un jab, dos jabs por pelea y ya pierdes el round.
Y aparte, pues ni se dejaban todo el tiempo así, el referee nunca le llamó la atención.
Y se desesperó, se fue desesperando un poquito Valdez después del quinto, sexto round, y el otro corriendo y amarrando y ensució la pelea, la verdad.
Oye, y ahora que viene el pinche vaquero con...
Those were the words of longtime Canelo Alvarez. Hey, payday, you want payday? I know that trainer, Eddy Reynoso. And basically, for those who don't speak Spanish, this is what his longtime trainer did. He stereotyped black fighters, saying, quote, you know how the black fighters are. They throw a jab here and there, and they run the whole time, end quote. He also said in this particular snippet, he was on a podcast with Marco Antonio Barrera, the babyface assassin, legendary boxing figure out of Mexico. He also says that in the fight with his fighter, Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson, that Shakur Stevenson was probing with his arm and was fighting dirty. Wow. Now, you know, the boy Ego definitely got a lot to say, but I want to start with the definition of stereotype. Noun. 1, a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. And if this doesn't exemplify what a stereotype is, I don't know a better recent boxing comparison of what a stereotype is, because he's saying the black fighters, like, first of all, you have to use specifics, right? And I'm going to get to that regarding Shakur Stevenson in a minute. You can't just say the black fighters, because black fighters do not fight all one way. That, again, this embodies the word stereotype. The way James Kirkland fought Canelo, he actually hurt Canelo. If you guys look at it in the first round, and Canelo had to reach out and grab to kind of stop James Kirkland because he had that early traction. But James Kirkland only has one mode, which is kind of like the rugged, and if he can like withstand the early shots, which he couldn't versus Canelo, if he's able to, then he kind of gets going and he got the motor, and if he can like make it to the later rounds, then he can maybe put you in a predicament. That wasn't the case in the Canelo fight, but still, the point being, James Kirkland doesn't fight like Errol Spence Jr. Speaking of stereotypes, Errol Spence Jr., he doesn't fit the mold. He has an action style. You know, Errol Spence, if you watch him fight, watch his fight with Ugas, body shots galore. He throws more body shots than some Mexican fighters that you see in the game of boxing. Like, actually, if you look at David Benavidez, who's half Mexican, half Ecuadorian, David Benavidez, I would like to have seen him versus Caleb Plant start an attack to the body, and Caleb Plant was definitely winning them early rounds versus David Benavidez, and then Benavidez picked up his punch. But a lot of his punches were headshots. So this is a guy who identifies as Latino, and David Benavidez, he wasn't ripping body shots versus the style of Caleb Plant. No matter who I've seen Errol Spence fight, be it Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Yordenis Ugas of Cuba, no matter who he's fighting, his offensive prowess is always on display. You got guys like Terrence Crawford, also doesn't fit this mold. If black fighters just throw one punch and run and all that, how come he knocks out a guy like Jose Benavidez in the 12th round? How come he has all knockouts in the welterweight division? He clearly is not just throwing a bunch of jabs and then looking to flee and run and stuff. But again, these are the stereotypes that we hear from the usual suspects and old media in boxing. They want to represent black fighters as a certain way, but I told you from the beginning, that's not going to fly, and we always going to nip that in the bud and correct that. Gervonta Davis just fought against Ryan Garcia. He also wasn't running. I mean, if he was running, then Ryan Garcia probably would have more success because Tank maybe wouldn't be able to plant his feet and land a significant shot. But if you look at the shot that dropped Ryan Garcia, is because Tank had his feet planted and timed him and stopped him. Now, regarding Shakur Stevenson, that's also not a good example. One of the things that I've highly credited Shakur Stevenson for in his career is his ring IQ and generalship and his ability to stand right in front of his man and trade and be offensive whilst being defensively responsible, making him extremely hard to hit, but he's hitting you. And this goes to no matter who Shakur Stevenson is fighting. If he's fighting an Olympian, Robinson Conceição, a Mexican warrior like Oscar Valdez, right? If he's fighting against Jamel Herring, Shakur always looks the same. He's always using his style and his smarts to get the victory and do it impressively and not get hit with silly stuff. So even Eddy Reynoso saying that Shakur is fighting dirty, it sounds like a cop-out, and it's really a shame for somebody who is supposed to be trainer of the year to be using these talking points. What you're basically saying is you're inferior as a trainer and you don't know what to do to circumvent or get around this style, which is bad because if you're a master barber, that means you can cut any hair. Like, you can't just cut white people's hair. You can't just cut black people's hair or Mexican people's hair. If you're truly a master barber, no matter the texture, the grade of hair, if it's a flat top, if it's a short, bald, cut, if it's a fade, if it's a taper, you should be able to cut that if you're calling yourself a master. So for Canelo to say he's the face of boxing and his trainer to have been elected trainer of the year and things like that, you would think that they wouldn't fall back on these, oh, he ran, and these, age-old stereotypes for certain fighters. Another reason it's a stereotype is Dimitri Bivol. Literally, if you watch his fight with Canelo, he used a lot of in and out movement and 1-2s.
Bivol seems as if he's just trying to find what works for him. He's tapping them, trying to find the range, trying to see what punches he can land comfortably.
And he was in and out, and Canelo couldn't lock him down. But only black fighters get called runners, even though Dimitri Bivol integrated standing still and in pocket fighting, also lateral movement. And he's doing this, but a Russian fighter is not being called and stereotyped like black fighters. So we know what time it is, and it lets you know what Eddy Reynoso feels. And he did it in front of Marco Antonio Barrera, also Spanish speaking. He's probably had a good relationship with him. And you look at these interviews, it's like the fighter or trainer who says these asinine things, they know who they can say it in front of and get away with saying it because there's not going to be any pushback from the person in terms of like, hey, what do you mean by that? And that's exactly Eddy Reynoso. He's seen his entrance and he made the comment, and there was literally no pushback from Barrera. But I'm here to let you know that's not true. Shakur Stevenson beat the dog snot out of Oscar Valdez, and he did it primarily in pocket. There was no running. Go watch the fight. That's why it looked like Canelo was finna cry in the crowd seeing his stablemate get pieced up. So whatever helps you sleep at night, let me know what you guys think. I'll probably talk about this more on the channel because I'm the best in the business, and I'm out.